Hey guys, so in this video basically I'm going to show you some exercises for the biceps brachii muscle. I'm going to show you how to do those exercises, I'm going to show you how to warm up that muscle, and I'm also going to show you how to cool down that muscle as well. I'm going to show you what people often do wrong when they're working the biceps muscle, and also I'm going to give you a difficulty level for every single exercise I do. So it's either going to be beginner, intermediate or difficult. So basically this video is really for people who are new to exercising or new to going to the gym, people who haven't really done a whole lot of exercising in their life, or it could be for those people who have been doing gymming for a long time but they think maybe their technique's not so great, or they want to find out some more exercises they can do specifically for their biceps, or perhaps not so specifically for their biceps. So basically to start off we're going to warm up the muscle. So really I recommend doing an active warm-up, so really doing some dynamic stretches. Passive stretches aren't quite as good as dynamic stretches. A lot of research has shown that doing passive stretches after exercise is a lot more beneficial than doing it beforehand. So basically with the dynamic stretches you're really trying to get blood flow into that area, and hopefully it's going to reduce DOMS, or delayed onset muscle soreness. So what I like to do first is just arm swings. So basically we're going up and down. So basically this is contracting and relaxing. So it's contract, relax, contract, relax. So I like to do this about 15 times before I start a workout. And then once you've done the 15, coming out to the side. So relax, contract, 15 times there as well. And then also to warm up, what I like to do is get a really small weight, something that's really easy to do, and just do high reps of what you're about to do. So I'm going to grab really light weights like this and just going to do 15 of these. So this should be really easy for you, it shouldn't fatigue the muscle. What it's meant to do is get blood flow to the area. Once you've done 15 of those, what I really recommend doing is some core work. Doing core work's going to reduce the likelihood of injury, and also it's going to make your exercises a lot more efficient. So I recommend doing things like the plank, the side plank. So that's really going to be working the inner unit of the core, so particularly transverse abdominis. With the biceps muscle, it's basically that big fleshy muscle on the front part of the arm there. So it attaches to the shoulder and also down on the forearm. So bi means two and seps means heads, so it has two heads. So one head comes up here to the coracoid process on the shoulder, which is just the bony part that sticks out there, and the other head goes to the supraglenoid tubercle, which is also on the shoulder blade. Then it comes down to the radial tuberosity, which is basically just that bone on the thumb side of the forearm there. So its action is to flex the forearm at the elbow and also to supinate. So supinate basically just means going from the palm facing backwards to the palm facing forwards. So anything that's going to cause the elbow to bend or the wrist to turn like that is going to be working the biceps brachii muscle. Okay, so to start off with, I'm just going to show you the simple bicep curl. So you can do this with 2 dumbbells, or you can also do it with a long barbell. So with the dumbbells, you're more using stabilizing muscles, which is a lot more functional, and it's a lot better in daily life. So there's a few different grips you can do for the bicep curl. One is the supinated position like this. One is a semi-prone position, and another is the full prone position. So basically with these 3 grips, you're using different parts on the forearm rather than the biceps. So in this position here, you're mainly using the forearm flexors in addition to biceps brachii. In the mid-prone position, you're mainly using the brachioradialis muscle. So the brachioradialis muscle, I'll show you, is called the drinking muscle, basically because when you use it, you do this action here, like you're drinking. So you can really see that sticking out there when you do this exercise. When you do the prone position, you're mainly using the wrist extensors in addition to biceps brachii. So with this exercise, it's quite simple, but lots of people seem to do it wrong, and lots of people seem to choose too much weight in the gym. They really have too much ego, and they try and do too much, and their technique's out, and they get injured, and they don't really work the biceps at all. So, very simple. Feet hip width apart, elbows resting at the side. I'm going to start in the supinated position. And you're just coming up. Come to the shoulders and down. I'll show you on the side. So it's really important to keep the elbows locked at the sides. So they shouldn't move too much forward and they shouldn't move too much backwards. So I'll show you. Just coming up, keeping those elbows locked. Okay? So there's a little bit of forward movement with my elbows, but I'm really trying to limit that to get the full range of motion at the elbow joint. Okay? Because the biceps brachii works to flex the elbow and also to supinate the forearm, what I like to sometimes do is start in the prone position, and as I'm coming up, I come up into a supinated position, and then on the down, going back into a pronated position, or palms facing the back. So up and back. So it's really important when you do this not to go too fast on the down face. So a lot of people think once they've gone up, they've done all the work and they can just drop it down very quickly. What that's going to do is not work the best part of the exercise. So the eccentric phase is basically where you're going to get the most mass gains and the most strength gains. So it's really important to do that slowly and really focus the muscle when you do that part. So I'll show you what a lot of people do wrong when they do this exercise. What they can do is they can heavily use their shoulder too much. So what they do is they swing too far forward or back and they don't get full range in the elbow. So they do these sort of things. So you can see I'm not doing a whole lot of curling at my elbow, and what you'll see in the gym is a lot of big fellas will get in there, have too much ego, they'll pick up huge weights that are much too big for them, and they'll do these things. What they might also do is arch their back, so to get that extra range. So they'll go like this, or they'll start by leaning forward and use momentum to get the weights up, like that. It's not really using the biceps at all, is it? Basically what it's doing is just injuring your back. So really it's good to have good technique because you're using the muscles efficiently and also you're reducing the likelihood of injuring that muscle or your back. So picking up my barbell, doing all those things, keeping my head facing forward and coming up, bending from the knees. Okay, so when you're using a long barbell, a wide grip can be used to work more the inside of your biceps muscle, so more that head that goes to the coracoid process, or you can do a narrow grip. Now narrow grip is going to more work the outside of the biceps, or the head that goes to the supraglenoid tubercle. What I like to do is just keep a neutral grip, keep my muscles even. So with this, same thing, feet are hip width apart, we're breathing out on the up phase and breathing in on the down phase. So, same thing, coming up and down, making sure we're not angling that barbell as we come up. So we want to try and have similar strength in both muscles. Okay, so I'll show you from the side. Same thing, keeping those elbows locked, coming up. Really try not to arch the back when you do this, like that. Keeping the torso straight, bending from the elbow alone. Okay, what I'm going to show you now is a series of row techniques. So rowing is basically anything that's going to do this sort of action. So as you can see, you're bending at the elbow, therefore you're using the biceps brachii muscle. So there's three different types I like to use. The first one is just an upward row in a tall standing position, and I like to use just the single dumbbells for this one. Keeping our hands in a pronated grip, hands on front of the thighs, and our feet are hip width apart again, and breathing out as we come up. So we're coming to shoulder level there, slowly down, making sure we keep control as we do this. Up, brief pause, down. I'll show you from the side. So we're coming up, brief pause, and down. Up, brief pause, down. So with this exercise, you're also using heavily the anterior deltoid muscle, as well as the rhomboids and the middle fibers of the trapezius. Another way we can do the row is a fully leant over row. Again, we're just using the dumbbells, but this time just using one. So to do this, you can do this at home anywhere, on a table, on a chair. So the way I do it is one knee on the table, the hand on the same side on the table to support. We're keeping a natural S-shaped pattern in the spine, and we're leaning over, keeping the eyes straight down. So with this one, you want to try and get that little bit of extra range, so those rhomboids are working a little bit more. So letting that weight come down a little bit further, making sure you're keeping the torso straight up and down. Okay? And then we're lifting up and down, up and down. What a lot of people can do wrong with this one is rotate the torso to get that bit of extra range, but really you only want to be bending that elbow and moving the scapula back without doing this rotation sort of thing. So that's going to, one, injure yourself, and two, not be working the muscles in the right way. Okay, so this is the way you do it. Keep the torso straight towards the floor. Neutral spine, up and down. Okay. The third one is with the long barbell. So, same thing, making sure we're keeping safety in mind. Picking up the barbell. Okay. We're in a pronated grip. Elbows are at the sides, where we've got feet hip width apart, bending at the knees, bending at the hips, leaning forward, keeping that neutral spine, and the head stays forward. So we don't look down, up or side to side, keeping it forward. And then we're bringing the bar just above the belly button. Above the belly button and down. Above the belly button and down. I'll show you from the side. So bending from the knees and the hips, neutral spine, head forward, belly button, down. Belly button, down. So this exercise is also using the posterior deltoid as well as the rhomboids and the middle fibers of the trapezius as well. So what a lot of people can do wrong with this one is bend the back forward like this, which is going to give you an injury. They keep the knees straight, same thing, injury. So really important to bend the knees, bend the hips, and neutral spine for that one. Okay. Exercise is really focusing on the biceps muscle itself, and there's no real other contributions from any other muscles except perhaps the forearm muscles, the forearm flexors, and the forearm extensors as well. So what you need to do for this one is you can do this anywhere in the house. So what I've got here is just an ordinary couch. I've got a chair behind here that I'm sitting on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lean forward. Now when I lean forward, I'm really keeping that neutral spine as well, and the elbow is resting near the top. Okay, so this hand can be here for support on the arm, or it can be sitting here, wherever's more comfortable. Okay, I'm coming down and up. Okay, or here, down and up. So it might be a bit hard to get full range using a couch, but of course I really like to promote using things that aren't in the gym. Things that are cheap and anyone can do. So with everything I've shown you today, you can basically do this without dumbbells. So you don't need to go and spend that money if you don't want to. What you can use instead is 2 heavy books. So using books is a lot more functional because you're really using the strength muscles in the grip strength muscles, and you're using more of those forearm flexors in there as well. So it's a lot more functional than using the dumbbells or the barbells that are quite easy to hold. So, same thing, coming up and down. So you can basically do any of the exercises I showed you today with 2 heavy books. Try to make sure the books are about even size and even weight as well. That's just the cheaper alternative you can use. To finish up with, I'm going to show you how to cool down those muscles and stretch them. So because, as I said before, the biceps brachii flexes the elbow and also supinates, so doing this movement here. To stretch it, we're going to simply do the opposite of that. So this is the same with any muscle, you're just doing the opposite to its action to stretch it. So we're going to extend the elbow and pronate at the wrist. So I like to do this one up against some sort of wall or a door or anything like that. So we're extending the elbow, we're pronating the wrist. So those fingers should be facing the front if you can get to that range. And then I'm just leaning forward. So I'm really feeling that along there. And because the biceps brachii is also a very, very weak shoulder flexor because of its attachment, I'm also extending at the shoulder as well to get that little bit of extra stretch. So when you're stretching, you should do it for about 15 to 20 seconds after a workout. If you're stretching the muscle to correct alignment or anything like that, I really suggest 30-second or more holds for your stretches. So remember to do that for both arms, and then you're finished up with your workout. So when you've finished up with any workout, I really recommend making sure you keep hydrated and also adhere to your nutritional requirements. So your nutritional requirements will be different for everyone. Everyone requires a different amount of protein, carbohydrates and fats, but I really recommend having some sort of protein within 20 minutes of doing a big workout. Thanks guys.